So it's full. Very good. Wonderful. All right, if somebody can share with me why you'd like to have the power or why you feel like you have the power. Yes, dear?
Because us as a teenager, we're mostly corrupted to a lot of things because we think that we don't pay attention to the world around us, but maybe they might be wrong. So that's why we also have to listen to teenagers when they say, oh, we've been attacked by this, we've been attacked by that, we've been raped. They need to be listened, or not, who's going to be taking care of them and their future generations.
Thank you.
I believe the strong-minded people who don't get influenced by bad things around the neighborhood as the are the people who can make a change. People like myself that haven't been affected by anything. I think I influence my friends into positive things.
Anyone else? All right, you guys can sit down. So, why do you think I asked you guys all those questions?
I mean, to get you moving, right?
Yes, what else?
I think you asked us because we think the other questions to see what we were capable of and what we knew of, and the fact that we were doing something right now, we could have done it with the community as well.
Perfect. Anybody else? Why did I ask you those questions? Did anything shock you? Were you surprised by anything? What were you guys shocked by or surprised by?
That only one person out of a lot of people walk through a library has to have a library.
Absolutely. Scary, right? Scary for me. It's terrifying. Anything else?
Just adding to what she said, none of us actually paid attention to that or even thought about that. We always thought about ownership for a while we were so let's go buy a bicycle. Never thought about library or anything that's useful.
Right, you can buy the khakis there, but you don't think, well, never saw a library. Very good. What else? Anything else? Perfect. So you're right. A lot of what you guys said is exactly right. Like why I wanted to ask you guys these questions and why I want to learn about your community.
It's very important for me, it's most important for all of you, that by the end of this process, there will not be 6 of you that feel like you have the power to make changes. Because in fact, we have to remember what Margaret Mead said. That you guys are really the only people that are going to. It's going to take hard work, there are things you've got to learn, there are issues that are absolutely going to come up, and you're definitely going to fail. That is not fun to hear, I get it. But you have to keep going because you guys are, nobody's sitting out there right now cleaning up, there's no students sitting outside these doors cleaning up the trash or the lasagna that was on the stairs, right? Nobody else is doing it. You're sitting in this room mostly by choice, possibly because there's a pizza on the back table, but now you're kind of sucked in and now you've kind of got to make a change, at least a little bit of a change. You've got to figure out how you can gain that power. There are ways, most of the time, the most powerful people you know do not have a title. They aren't called president. They aren't called doctor even. There are people just like you, there are people just like Judy, that decide that this is a change that they're going to make, and even if they can impact 25 young people per year, they will do the best job they can to impact 25 people for a year. Does that make sense? We can't change everything, for sure. Kate and I went to Uganda, and I think that was the biggest learning experience for us. There's a never-ending desire to get rid of every terrible, horrible thing in the world. It's not always possible, right? But we have to decide what it is within us that we can make those changes, and we have to do everything in our power to do it. Everything. We have one last activity that we're not going to do because you only have 7 minutes left. So instead, I'm going to close out. But I do want you guys to see the activity just so you know what it is. Because in order for you to get to the next step of this process, I'm going to challenge you to at least try to think about this. Carlos, would you hand these out to everybody? And would someone else go to the other side of the room? Let me read them. And I promise we won't go through the whole thing. There's a couple of them filled out just to give you an idea of what it looks like. But it's called the Circles of Influence. And as it's one of SMART goals, I want to make sure you hear about it. There's something called a circle of influence, and it's the people around us that influence us and that we influence as well. So if you start in the very middle, think about me. I didn't put those words down there, either because they were me or because they were you. It was just descriptions so that it would get you started in thinking about this. What are some positives? Look at the right side first. Some positives. Another word for positives, like assets or strengths. So what are some assets or strengths within your circle of influence, within just you? Well, for me, one of my strengths is that I'm a hard worker. I know that, right? That's on the positive side. Okay, well, what's one of my issues or one of my problems? Just within me, in my own circle of influence. I'm super stubborn. I'm so stubborn. I know that. And it's something that sometimes holds me back. So let's go beyond me. Let's go beyond to the next level of my circle of influence. That's my family and friends. What's one of my positives? Well, I get a lot of support from my family and friends. Right? But what's one of those, that's one of my assets. It's something that I need to use. I need to figure out how to use that to a strength. What's one of the issues or problems? Something on the left side. Well, I feel like I have a lot of pressure from my family and my friends. So sometimes that's really hard for me. Okay? So we move beyond family and friends. Go to the next level, my school, and then to the final level, my community. And what do all those circles of influence look like? What are their strengths or assets? And what are the issues or problems within them? Let me give you an example of my school. The positive, maybe you'll say your positive is that there's good teachers, or there's new ideas, or that you really like the clubs or the sports. Those are all assets of your school, right? Think of what's not so good. What are some issues or problems within your school? Maybe there's a lot of fights. Maybe you don't like the elective courses that are offered. Maybe you need more caring adults here. Those are all issues or problems within your school community. Those are what we need to start talking about in rooms just like this. How can you guys make changes to the issues or problems by using all of those assets or strengths? Does that make sense? We have to learn how to use what's on the right side of that circle to make changes with what's on the left side of the circle. And then let's go one step further to my community really quick. What are some positives? Maybe you have great art groups, or maybe you really like the movie theater, or maybe they have a youth advisory board that you think is very effective. We have to learn how to use those assets or strengths when we talk about the issues or the problems in your community. Maybe you feel like there's a lot of teen pregnancy, or there's high poverty, or there's litter. How do we use those assets or strengths to identify and combat those issues or those problems? That doesn't mean you have to use the youth advisory board as an asset to combat teen pregnancy. That's an issue or problem. Maybe the best thing you can use is your hard work, which is an asset, but it's not in the community. It's just within you. That's fine. Your circle does not remain within its circle, right? Use your hard work so that you can help other people with their issues and problems within your school, or within your community, or maybe within your family and friends. Does that make sense? I know I gave you a really brief rundown of the circles of influence. My challenge to you is maybe after Thanksgiving, you guys come back and you have the opportunity to just think about this a little bit. Jot it down, because while it seems like homework, let me tell you why it's important. Because when you go to this is 101, the first step in take action. When you go to 201, you'll already have brainstormed some of the issues or problems in your community that you'll start discussing. So instead of spending that time trying to think about it, you'll have it already written on this paper. Does that make sense? Cool. All right, sunshines. So I just want to close up really quick. First, I want to say, incredible job. Thank you guys so much. I'm very proud of you. I also do want to close with a couple shout-outs. For me, shout-outs are so important, mostly because I love recognizing people. It's very important for me. You guys all did a phenomenal job of sharing. I think that I'd like to give a shout-out especially to Carlos, who I think put something very personal on the line. He discussed part of his story within our activity. And I think that takes a lot of courage, and thank you very much. So shout out to Carlos. Does anyone else have a shout out they'd like to give really quick? Yes.
I'll give a shout out to Luis, because he actually spoke about today and came out.
Perfect, thank you. Anybody else have a shout out to give? Yes, dear.
I want to give a shout out to everybody because it wasn't easy doing these activities if we didn't have anyone in this room right now.
Thank you. Yes.
I'll give another shout out to everyone for doing that in teamwork because it involves a lot of teamwork to get things done quickly.
Perfect. Thank you. Anything else?
And for you guys to having a workshop to do with
Thank you. Really glad you guys participated. Anything else? All right, let's visit these goals really quick and then we'll be done. First goal, can someone read to me really quick? Yes.
Introduce Take Action Workshop Series.
Do you feel like you get it? The first step, take action series. Did we do that? Perfect. Second goal, first to read. Go for it.
Explain circles of influence.
Do you get the circles of influence? It's super fast. Let me explain it, right? Awesome. Third? Yes.
Identify individual circles of influence.
So we kind of started it, but we didn't really get to that, but hopefully you guys will be able to identify it on your own. Some of your circles of influence. Yep, four? Yes.
Identify traits of a positive community.
Identify traits of a positive senior leader. And we did those on the posters, correct? And I want you guys to definitely keep those. And I need someone who has not spoken up yet, just to read 3 words. Anybody? Anybody? I'm not going to pick on you, just, yes sir.
Identify community issues.
Thank you sir, what's your name?
Brendan.
Thank you, Brandon. Wonderful. Guys, give yourselves a big round of applause. All right, you are free to eat pizza. You're in Judy's control. Go for it. Thank you guys so much again.